So we just had panic stations, as you can see that in here. So it's the morning after the day before when we filled up. This video is going to be one of the most stressful videos you've probably seen in a while, because I'm going to take you through the whole process of getting the hot and cold feeds on into the barn that we've been working on. Right, so we've got the first one of the day. Get the aqua back out. Don't be sidetracked into doing things that you know don't work like I have, because it will come and bite you on the arse. I'm just going around now, turning on all the toilets in the building. A couple of them are already on, but this one, for some reason, I knew we was going to have trouble with. And the first flush, it's absolutely pissing out of somewhere. Right, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing well. I'm filming this intro at the end of the week. It's late on a Friday, just so that I know everything's gone all right, because this video is going to be one of the most stressful videos you've probably seen in a while, because I'm going to take you through the whole process of getting the hot and cold feeds on into the barn that we've been working on. It's something I've wanted to do for a few months now as the build's progressed and progressed. It's been pressure tested, but I wanted to get the actual hot and colds on into the building for my own peace of mind. So enjoy the video to come. You can follow my stress levels build up on the day of us filling it up. So I will leave you to it. Enjoy the video, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, drop me a comment during the video, let me know what you think to how I'm getting on with it and whether you can see them stress levels building up. But yeah, hope you enjoy it. So I'm back at the barn. Things are moving on very, very quickly. As you can see here, looks like the Only Fools and Horses chandelier's gone up. But let me take you for a little look round. So what we've got at the minute, this is what we're going to be concentrating on today, is this tap and everything that's going in. Now the granite's on this kitchen. It is looking stunning. So what we're going to be concentrating on is this tap going in here. So what we're going to have the hand wand sort of spraying thing there, which is that will sit in this point. Then we've got a handle here, then the tap in the centre, another handle here, and then this one is for the Kookatap to go in. So I've laid this tap out because what we've got to do with these can be a right pain. These have got to go into position underneath, and then on the top, I'm going to have to get someone to give me a hand. Just screwing that onto there like so, and then that will sit within that worktop. But it's just dead fiddly doing everything all at once with these, because you need about 5 pairs of hands. The tap will be fine, that'll be fine, because that just sits within there, and then the wand will just slide down in there, and the same with the Kookatap. It's just a normal regular tap. But fitting all this lot, we'll give this a proper run for its money, the Neurad Tapex kit. Now, I've had a quick look, and I think we might struggle getting onto these nuts with the kit, but we'll see. So we'll get this wiped down, get this cleared out, get this in, and then we can work from underneath, because we've got hot and colds here, obviously waste. But what the kitchen company do with this, we've got everything from this point here back, because what they do, they put a board on the front of here that covers everything behind there up, because we've got the Kooka canister. If you've ever fitted one, you know how big they are. So we're going to have to cut the bottom of this unit out, sink the canister down into there, do all the pipe work, do all the waste, and then the board goes on the front and covers everything up, which is perfect. So let's start by getting these taps in. So we'll start with that one. That one is straightforward enough, just slides in like so, and then we'll tighten it up on the bottom, and then the hand wand, which is here, will just slide in, and that will sit there. So when everything is all connected up, obviously the end of that will connect to the mixer tap, but they'll just pull that out. I think there's a button on the top, yeah. Hit the button on the top, and that'll work that. So now for the tap bodies. Now these can be a right pain in the ass, because you obviously can't get that through there. So you've got to go from underneath, you've got to offer that up so it comes up through the hole, and then the top sort of nut sits on the top, and you've got to tighten that in. If you tighten it down to that point there, then you can go underneath and adjust the depth of that. I think these ones are going to sit, I've worked it out, roughly about there. But once that's in, you can then slacken that off underneath and it will move the whole body of the tap up and down, if that makes sense. It's sort of awkward to do. So I'll offer that up, get someone to just tighten that on, then I can just go underneath and alter it with that. Right, so that's the tap body into position. These have to sit on the top. So they push down and then they screw in, but obviously you've got that much of a gap. So that's where now we will just, a bit fiddly, let me put that on there. We'll alter this to the depth that we need it. Like there. And then when this is pushed on and tightened down, it will cause that little gap there to disappear. So that's roughly the height we want them at. So if I go under here, I've got to get right under and then up there to just adjust the nuts underneath and tighten them up. Okay, I think that one now is exactly where we're going to want it. So we push that down, screw that on. I'll turn, there's still a bit of a gap there. Can you see it? Tiny little gap there, so I'm just going to adjust it ever so slightly. I just want it to be so you can see no gap at all. So I'll just slacken it off underneath and then lift that up ever so slightly. Same with that one. That's both those taps now set in. Hot on the left, obviously, cold on the right, and they're just quarter turn. But we've managed to get them perfectly spaced out to the lip, so they're both equal. It's just a bit of a pain tightening them up underneath, but that's all done. A bit fiddly, but that's done. So as you can see, there's no gap around the bottom now, no gap around there. We can now get the main tap on, and we'll get the Kookatap in as well. So I've just come to start fitting the main tap, put the shroud on it, and then just thought, well, what are these two shrouds for? And then, of course they are. They're for here, for that one and that one. So we'll unbolt the handles off again, go underneath, slacken it off, just drop it down, get them on, repeat the process that was a right faff the first time. My own fault for not laying it all out and putting it where it needed to go. That's better. Now they've got the proper shrouds on the bottom. So we can now go, as I was saying, to doing this. So we've got the shroud on there, we've got the U-clamp. We all know what I'm like with these, so I'll hold on to that one. And then we've got the tiny little nut there. But this is where, again, the Neurad Tapex kit will come in to its own, hopefully. So we'll just feed this in. Oh, before I go, I'll show you as well. Right, if I can find them, there your hot and colds. And then this one is for connected onto the end of your spray wand that sits in the end. So we'll get this into position, get it bolted in, get it tightened in, then we can connect that, connect them, because the ends of these, I'll show you underneath, have got to go onto the back of them. It's all a little bit complicated, isn't it? But I'll take you underneath in a minute and show you exactly what I mean. So I'll take you under here now and show you exactly where we've got to connect in. It's a bit of a squeeze, as you can see, but right, this is the bottom underneath of these taps. Obviously, hot, cold that side, and we've got this little feed here, which is going to be for the sprayer that's going to poke down there. So we'll connect the end of the sprayer onto that, and then because it's a mixer tap out there, we can just connect the hot and the cold to whichever side we like, because it's all just going to come out the same spout anyway, just to give the least resistance on these Flexioses. So I may just come round like that with it. We'll have a look, and then we can just bring off the bottom of here in coppered straight down, off there, and then the Kookatap is yet to go into that side there. So we'll get this one in, get these in, get the tails brought down, and then it saves us breaking my back under here for the rest of the day. And then it'll all be down there, so the tails will drop down there, and then we can just concentrate connecting into the feeds there. So that's that connected up. Perfect, the one with a little button on the end. So that's connected. The tap's now connected underneath. We've just got to put the tails on to drop down. But we'll just get, before we carry on, get this Kookatap in. Just a hot water, boiling hot water tap. On the end of it is, we've obviously got a connection that goes on top of the actual canister unit and a power feed. Because this is boiling water, 100 degrees, you have to have a lock-in mechanism to obviously stop any kids from scolding themselves. So we'll get this one put into place now, dropped in, bolted in, and then that's all the work where we've got to get right under the back of that unit done and out of the way. So that's all them 4 taps in now. Well, I say 4 taps. We've got the hand wash, the cold, the actual tap itself, the hot, and the Kookatap. And we begin to start connecting it up underneath. But for the last hour or so, we've been trying to sort out this Kookatap. Obviously, we've got the canister here, and we've got a scale control plus cartridge there, and then a cold water filter cartridge there. We're getting them all to work together under the sink to do the one tap and the main tap has been a bit of a nightmare. So we've managed to work out a way of integrating them 2 components in with that Kookatap and getting them all under that sink, but that's for another day. I'm not back here tomorrow, so I'll be back Thursday. Then hopefully when that's in, touch wood, we can begin to get the hot and cold and second drops on into the whole building, begin to fill it up, get some water to the taps. And also the renewables company coming out to commission all the plant room, so in theory we can get the heating on as well, get the underfloor heating on, and start getting some life into this building. Things are moving on at the barn renovation. We're here today to get the water on. I've pressure tested it about 2 months ago when the first fixes went in. It was all pressure tested, all fine. But since then we've had decorators in, carpet fitters are in now, kitchen's gone in. But today we want to try and get the water on. So it's all hands on deck. We're gonna have the decorator's radio off so that it's nice and quiet so that I can see and hear if anything is untoward. Because we all know the worst part of any job like this is when we get the water on. But as I said, I pressure tested it up about 2 months ago when the first fix went in, but it was all to like the pipe work was going to the position of where the toilet was going, where the basin was going, where the shower was going. So all that pipe work in theory is okay because it was pressure tested and it was fine. However, since then a lot of stuff's gone on, so you never know, a chippy might have nicked a pipe or something might have happened. Touch wood. Where are we? Touch wood, we're all okay, but you never know. So today is one of them days where you just want as least amount of people here as possible. A couple of decorators are here, that's fine. But we've just had the customer's missus has been here, and I just didn't want anyone like that about when you're filling it up, because if something goes wrong, they'll be panicking, going, turn the water off. Whereas if a bit of water's coming out and the decorator spots it, he'll go, got a bit of a leak there, not a problem. So you try and keep it as minimalistic as people as you can, just to sort of keep the stress levels down. So what I'll do now, I'll go around every single fitting that's exposed, make sure it's tight, make sure they're off, isolator valves are off. Like for instance, under the sink here, those 2 isolation valves are off. The showers, obviously you can't isolate the showers, they're on, but things like the toilets are off, the basins are off, and everything that you can sort of work to fill up to that point, then go round systematically turning each one on. So we'll go around, check everywhere's all right, and then get ready for the big turn on. And if it goes wrong, this could be a very long video, and it could be a very wet video, but hopefully it's all right. Right, let's get on with it. So I'm going to go round. This is obviously, it's a bit of a mess in here because they're storing stuff in here, but the shower's there, that's off. The isolation valves for this basin underneath are off. So there's an isolation valve down there that's on. However, you can whip this cover off like so. If it comes off with one hand. So that cover comes off, and inside there is another isolation valve that turns on the feed to that system. So we'll leave that off. So that's the first sort of bit. The manifolds have all been filled up, so they're on. They haven't been tested yet, but we'll go through that probably in another video. As I've said, 2 isolation valves under that kitchen sink, that's fine. We've got 2 hot and colds coming out here, because this is the utility room. They're going to have an island here with a sink unit in, so they're full bore isolation valves, so they're shut off. The valves we need to get to is, there's a lever valve at the back there for the cold, and then obviously we've got the hot coming off the top of the cylinder. Another underfloor heating manifold there, and I'll take you up. I have been round already and checked that they're all, but I thought I'd just take you around. So we've got a basin there, isolation valves at the back, toilet here. Now this is going to be the only tricky one. We'll have to take this granite off the top and get to the isolation valve down the back of there. Bath, pipework comes around the back, that's not a problem. Shower is obviously off and ready to go. And then in here, see, even the carpet's gone down. So all of this is underfloor heated, as you know. We've got a manifold there. But this bathroom, taps are off. Isolation valves for the toilet and the basin, if you remember from a previous video, are in the back there. They're all switched off. We get in there. And then the final bit, we've got a manifold over there, but this is the final bathroom. Showers off, toilet's off, isolation valve. No, I think we left the toilet on because the isolation valve's behind there, so I left that on. So when we turn the water on, that's going to fill straight up. Isolation valves to the basin, they're off. And as we know from last week's video, that bath is in. So that's a quick look round of all the points, all the services, all the basins, the toilets, the showers that we need to be on the ball with. So we'll go down now and get some water on. So if you hear anything pissing out, give me a shout. So we've got spotters all round, we've got decorator in there, decorator down there. But hopefully it's just a bit of a nervous time really. And I don't look forward to it, but this is where the years in the game, you just got to do it. You just got to get on with it. You know in your own mind, you've done everything you can. Everything's shut off. It's like I'm prolonging it, isn't it? Everything's shut off. So let's do what we've been waiting to do for ages and get the water on. Right, so we're going for it. The unwritten rule, as I've always said, the unwritten rule, never fill up on a Friday. It's Thursday today, so we should be all right. Right, I've got to reach back through here now. If you can see, it's a bit awkward, and get to that 22mm lever valve, which is the cold. So I'm going to try and squeeze through, and that will instantly turn the cold on. It's fucking awkward to get to be honest. So I've just cracked it open and let the pressure build up, not at like full bore. So we'll go round. Always go with a pair of grips in case it fucking pisses out. First bit of water out. So let's turn that off. As I said, I've got that lever valve cracked, just a small amount, just to pull the water through. Let's go over to the copper bath. See what's happening in here. So again, the first bit of water through these taps will just be a trickle at the minute. It's coming, I can hear it. There we go. First bit. So we'll shut that off, let the pressure build up behind there. Because what we've got where that lever is, you can hear the water beginning to come through, like that whooshing noise, but at least we know we've got water at those 2 points, which are the furthest points away from the incoming main. And if you can hear that. So that's it, just filling up. So once that noise stops, we know all the pipe work is full, and then we can open that up to get the pressure behind it. So we'll just go around and make sure there's nothing pissing through the ceilings. So that's where the ensuite, that's where the copper bath is in there, in relation to where we are, and the plant room is in there. So the pipe work for that comes along the back there, up behind these units, and then the hot and colds for that and the secondary run through there and then drop down to feed that bathroom. So let's see if we've got anything in here. What I'm going to do is open up the cold. What's going on here? Thought that was off. Maybe that's off. I think that should be off for that. Bit random. With my little plum chum. We'll open the cot as well. But anyway, we've got cold at this point. Let's go and see how the rest of the building's looking. We're all good there. Nothing's showing itself here. Let's go upstairs. So we should have a good bit of water here now. Again, we haven't opened that lever valve up, so the pressure will be better. And I think also, yeah, the toilet's full. So the system's full, so we can give this a flush as well. Because as I said, the isolation is behind there. We have run water through this pan already. So we know we are relatively sound with that. So that's the pan on, toilet on, the cold to there, the cold to there. I'll test the shower shortly. I want to get the hot and colds on prior to doing that. What I'll do now, I'll turn the cold onto this Jack and Jill bathroom with these levers, because this is just fed directly from them to lever valves at the top. So we'll turn the cold on and check this bathroom's alright, but you can just still hear the cold main is just filling. So I'll open that up fully now. There we go. That's fully open. These two lever valves at the top. So we just crack that and let it pressurise up. Let's go on up and see. There we go, a bit of cold coming through. crank it right open now. There we go. Leave the hot off for a minute because we're still off here. The toilet's on. Toilet's on as well. So if we turn the hot now on from the cylinder, if you look down there, I don't know if you can make it out, there's a lever valve that feeds the rest of the building, whereas we can open that one up, but we'll just feed the hot to that Jack and Jill bathroom. So if we turn that on and then just go upstairs now and check and see if the hot's coming through there. So there we go, we've got hot now coming through the bath. I say the hot's on then to just this bathroom at the minute. It's nice that we can isolate this bathroom off and just pull some hot water through again. Perfect. Flushing itself through. Yeah. Right, so we've got the first one of the day. Get the aqua back out. So we just had panic stations. As you can see, look, in here. I've never caught it on camera because I had Scott hollering me and I just sort of ran down. So basically, we had a big leak in here. This is downstairs, so it's not too bad. The floor was flooded. It turns out I've missed one bloody swivel nut under there. I didn't tighten it up and it was just pissing out here. Thought everything in here was fine, so I was upstairs checking bits up there. But it turned out it was lashing out of there, so it sort of flooded the floor. We sorted that out. But what also happened was the shower was running and we couldn't turn it off. You've got 3 settings on this shower: off, the body wand and the head. We tried to turn it off into the centre and it just kept coming out the wand, and I was like, bollocks, have I piped it up wrong before? And I thought, no, because you can't. It was just hot and cold in the bottom, out this side for there and out that side for the top, and I know it was fine. Turns out when I've put the shower together and clipped all these front bits on, this had to be top dead centre here, and for some reason I had it horizontal, so whichever way you was turning it, it wasn't shutting any of these off. So now it's top dead centre, if you like. So if we turn it on that way, that comes on, to the left, that comes on, but vertically it's fine, it's where we want it. So I'm going to alter that, reassemble that. All the water in the building is on now, which is a massive relief for me. Sod's law, I was turning everything on, it was going fine, and then this last one, when Scott was here, "Mark, you got a leak." I was like, oh, bollocks, but that's what happened. So to be fair, this whole building, if that was the only leak under there, I'm happy with that. As I said, I knew the pipe work we put in, which I pressure tested, was going to be fine. It was just these little bits that we fitted afterwards that could have been an issue. So we'll sort this out, get this room dried out, get this room sorted, and then just go around double checking everywhere, checking for any little spots. But yeah, I'm pretty happy so far. So I've reset that shower now. So we're in the off position and it is off. Turn it that way, that'll come on. Turn it the other way, that'll come on. But yeah, for a moment I was worried. So that's that sorted, basin's on. Right, we've got to turn the water on to this toilet now, and if you look inside there, just there's a little grub screw. So we'll get in there and there we go, start filling this up. So that's the system filled. First flush for here. Hopefully it's not going to come out the back. They are pretty good, to be fair, these back to the wall floating pans. Once you've sort of shoved them in and bolted them in, 9 times out of 10 they seal and you're all right, but always check them because they can sometimes come from the back here. That one seems all right though. I'm just going round now, turning on all the toilets in the building. A couple of them are already on, but this one, for some reason, I knew we was going to have trouble with. And the first flush, it's absolutely pissing out of somewhere. So, just to detract back to what I've probably just said about these close couple floating pans, they're usually all right. I fucking knew this one was going to be a bit of a pain. I don't know why, just when it went in, I thought this is gonna be a bit of an issue toilet. But yeah, flush it and it absolutely pisses out. So what we'll do, luckily this is in the bathroom where we can get round the back there. So I'm gonna go round the back and see if we can sort the issue out from behind before taking the whole pan off. But as I said, real world plumbing, we all get leaks. It's how you deal with them that counts. I don't know. Right, it's safe to say we've got a bit of an issue. So, let me get the wet vac and the towel and sort that out. But yeah, this is basically the back of that pan. So, by the looks of it, either the pan connector's not connected in at all, which is my bet, but then again, we're showing water up here, so it could be coming out the flush pipe, which is probably a better guess, whether when we flush it it's just going whoosh and just spraying back out. But we'll get it cleaned up and then we'll assess it and see what's going on. So I found the issue. If you look here, the actual flush pipe isn't pushed into this elbow, so it's my own fault it's not gone in. So but the problem is these flush pipes are moulding into this whole system, so I don't know. I'm going to see if I can push it up. It might be just pushing it out slightly. Yeah, I think it is. So hopefully if I just push that in, it may, let's have a go, it may all push in one. Yeah, hopefully. Here we go. We can hope. I think it's bent that back as well. Right, let's see if we can get it pushed in somehow. So I've managed to push that. I think we've got it. I've flicked that plastic bit up off the bottom, and this seems to have just sort of jumped forward and connected into that flush pipe. So I've took this plate off the top so I can sit out the back here and flush it and just make sure nothing untoward is going to happen this time. But I've got the wet vac at hand if it has. So I'll put the tripod up here, and so I'll set this up here, give it a flush, and hopefully, touch wood, it's all right. So let's reach in. Let's just do a little bit at a time. So, walk back on. Let's fill it up. So let's dry it all down first so we know if there's any fresh water coming from anywhere. We know where we're at. So let's give it a go. That's better. I'm happy with that. So I've just flushed the whole lot, well, assuming it's alright out there. It's alright in here. Let's pop and have a look. Yes. So that water that was showing here before must have obviously come from the flush pipe at the back, pushed itself round and just shown itself out the front. So I'm happy the front's okay. Let's just double check the back with another flush. So that's that system filled back up. This is the handy part about having all this lot through that access. It just saved taking all of that pan out and everything just to get that clip back in. So let's give it another flush. Don't break it. Give it another flush then. There you go. Yeah, spot on. Right, we'll get the plate back on, get this rest of this dried out, and that's all good to go. We've also just got to put on, I just noticed, the air admittance valve on the top of that saw pipe. So it's such a relief to now, after 4 months of being here, getting stuff in, getting pipe working, getting underfloor heating in, it's now such a relief to be able to get the water on. Everywhere's on now, everywhere's up to pressure, all the baths are working, all the basins are working, all the toilets are working, the showers working fine. I've tested everything. So it's a massive, massive relief off my shoulders. If you've ever done a job sort of this size, I know I do quite a few big builds like this, and you watch the whole process through, and well, you have done since the channel started, you know just what it's like. Even though you've tested it up to the point of, as I said, 2 months ago, I tested this, pressure tested this, the hot and colds, and everything was fine. But until, you know, the likes of the toilets go in and the basins go in, and especially baths like this, and floor mounted taps and showers that are, you know, sort of put in the walls. People ask me, like, for instance, when I've done this one, people say, well, what happens if it leaks behind? That's where you've got to have confidence in you making the showers up and tightening the fittings in and all that sort of stuff. And that just comes with time. You can overthink fitting things like that in walls. There's always compression fittings, there's always fittings in walls, but if you overthink it and that starts creeping in your mind, you've just got to be confident with your workmanship. But as I said, it's all on. Basins are running, and it's nice to finally get this bath, some water into this bath. Right, so we're filling that up. But yeah, as I said, that's the pressure off now. So I'm going to spend the rest of the day just going around everywhere, making sure we're going to swill the showers down. We have had an issue, we've had a leak. We've had that issue with the shower not going the way it should have done. But again, I wanted to show you what it's like, and I hopefully you sort of caught the stress of this morning, turning things on and making sure everything was all right, and running around, especially this, running around the whole building, making sure it's not pissing water out everywhere. But yeah, so we'll spend the rest of the day getting the showers washed down and just everywhere, belt and braces test. Then obviously tonight, today's Thursday, tonight I will turn the water off tonight before I go, and then come back in the morning. I think I've got a tap to change somewhere first thing in the morning, but we'll be back tomorrow, mid-morning, afternoonish, and again, we'll turn the water on. As I always say, Friday is not a day to fill up, but with it off overnight, come back in tomorrow, turn it back on, just double check everywhere. So, right, I'm going to carry on for the rest of the day, checking everywhere's fine. Right, always stick to what you know. So I put this basin in, this one here, about a couple of weeks ago, and for some reason I didn't silicone. I always silicone the wastes in. I always throw the washers away and silicone the wastes in. For some reason I didn't do it on this one, and I think, thinking back, I said during the video I'm going to not do it and see if it leaks. Well, it turns out it's bloody leaking, so it's running down the thread and just showing in there. So I'm going to take this out, silicone it in as I always do, and it should be fine. So always do what you know works. Don't be sidetracked into doing things that you know don't work, like I have, because it will come and bite you on the arse. I know this is a proven formula, so it's not going to leak. Right, there we go. That's siliconed in, put into place, connect the waste up, let it go off and test it in an hour or so, a couple of hours, or probably tomorrow to be fair now. But always do what you know works. So it's the morning after the day before when we filled up, and I've been round, checked everything. The water's back on this morning, checked everything. There's no water stains, there's no water on the floors, which is always good. I always just struggle a little bit to sleep of a night when I've turned the water on, but everything seems all right. We've been checked round everywhere. Pressures are holding on the system. So the water's been on all of yesterday, shut it off last night, come back this morning, got the water back on. Everything seems fine. Been round, checked all the ceilings, as you do, check the floors. There's no damp patches, there's no wet spots, which is always a relief, because yesterday I was running around like a a lunatic making sure everything was all right. And this was my only concern, was here we have a little bit of rippling there, but it turns out the shower trays above here, we've run the shower trays, not a problem there. So whether that was just a bit of condensation or dampness in the joist that's shown through. But as for the plumbing wise, plumbing is all fine, good. Hot water's all on now. No heat into it yet because we're waiting for the plant room to be commissioned. So that's a bit of a relief. I'm glad that's done. It's a lot of weight off my shoulders, just making sure everything's fine. So today we're going to carry on where we was Tuesday, fitting this Kookatap. But what I'm going to do is get everything in under this cupboard. What we've got to do is cut out an area for the tank to sit in. We've got to also cut out a bit for the filters to sit in. But as I've said before, there's a board going on the front of here. So when they open these doors, they're just going to have a little bit of a shelf. They're not struggling for kitchen space at all, so that's not an issue. Just means we can put everything in the back there, connect it up as it needs to go, because we've got the filter to go in, this tank to go in, another filter to go in, a load of pipe work to go in, so there's going to be a lot going on there. So we've got to cut the base of this unit out here. I'll scribe round where the Kookatap canister's going to go, because obviously at the moment it's sticking up there, but when we drop that down to the floor, the top of it will be about there. And the same with the scale filter. We're going to trim it out around here so that it can drop down and enough room to detach it from the top and just being able to swap a filter out, really. So we've got to get that in. We've got to get that in. We've also got to get the cold water filter in there as well. I'm not sure where we're going to mount that one yet, but we'll have a look. So that is the tank situated in the position that's going to go. The scale filter put here and the cold water filter over here. What I'm going to do is work back from the tap into the Kookatap unit, then from there into the two filters, all the way back to this point here, which is going to be the feed that feeds it. Just making this and this work together has been a bit of a headache, because these Kookatap units only usually have one or the other. They don't seem to have both of them, so I've had to just sort of work my way through these plans for each unit. So that's the filter with the Kookatap unit. This is the scale filter with the Kookatap unit, but it doesn't show the two of them being fitted with the Kookatap unit. So I've had to sort of jiggle stuff around and get it to work as best I can. I think I've got it now. Just about got everything in. I'm going to try and tidy up these cables, but if you've ever fitted anything like that before, you know that all the plastic pipework you get is always just bent and curved, so it's hard to get stuff in. But we've got the shut-off valve coming in here. Don't worry about that. We've got a washing machine valve to go on there, but that's the main incoming valve to shut it all off. Then it's into the scale reducer, then into the filter at the back, and then from there into the Kookatap, ready to get boiling water that's going to eventually come out of this tap here. So now all that's done, I'm going to get the wastes connected and try and get these on before the end of play today. So that's the waste and everything connected underneath here now, apart from the washing machine tap that I've scoured all around the van. Can I find a washing machine tap just to finish that off on a Friday? No, I can't. But everything is in now. So as we know, the whole barn, water is on, as I've said probably numerous times in this video, because it's just a relief to get it on. So the whole barn's on, and now today we finally got cold water to the sink, hot water, well, it will be hot when the power goes on and it's all commissioned, but yeah, hot water to the sink, and also the Kookatap. How are we doing this? There we go. There we go, nice boiling hot water from the Kookatap, and I think this one's also got, how do you do it? Hold it down. And again, yeah, filtered cold as well. Just gives you that little, it's just a way, if you've never seen these Kookataps before, it's anti-scald thing, or you have to sort of, I think you have to double press them. So if you don't, if you just try to do it like he says and it works, yeah, there you go. It's sort of like, saves the kids burning themselves. We've got that, we've also got that in this sink as well. So, all is good. So I hope you've appreciated this video. If you have, hit the subscribe button, because this has probably been one of the most stressful fill-ups I've had for a long time. Just because at the stage it's at, the carpets are now in, up in these rooms, it's painted, the lights are on, everywhere's painted, everywhere's done, and it's getting to the point of now, it's not far from when Scott can move in. I think that's being commissioned next week. So we're about to call it a day for today, get the van packed up and get home and have a good weekend. So thanks for watching, appreciate all your support, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment below, all that jazz, and I shall see you on Wednesday.